Ask Reddit, what is one of your hard life lessons? That despite your best efforts you still just might not be good enough at something. I was so looking forward to learning to scuba dive. I was so excited. Until I got to my first lesson and learned that I'm not designed to breathe underwater. At all. I mean, total freak out, and I don't normally freak out. The guy kept trying to work with me, but I had to call it. I remember almost giving up the first time I geared up to scuba, when I just had to put my head underwater and breathe. I'm pretty sure I could have stayed down longer without the mask. It was like I couldn't breathe at all. The shock made me completely forget how to properly breathe, and I felt immense stress in that moment. Several more tries and it wasn't helping, and the stress and feeling of defeat was building up. They gave me a tip: try to just sit down underwater. We were in water halfway up the chest, and try to put on the swimming fins. Somehow when I did this and found myself focusing on something else other than breathing, I started breathing normally. What I was doing was not fully exhaling underwater. I was trying too hard to suck in air before releasing it all, so it felt like I was suffocating. I adapted pretty well after that, despite my beard letting water occasionally leak into the mask. The instructors didn't tell me about the Vaseline trick. I only learned that afterwards. It's a huge mental block for some, and it almost got the best of me. It sucks to go and pay good money and have your day ruined. I feel like if everyone had time and equipment to experiment on their own and get comfortable with the idea, they'd adapt pretty quick and not having any problems. It really is just normal breathing, but the situation and pressure can put you in the mental state where you're just done. I've still only scuba dived once, though it didn't make me want to go buy hundreds of dollars of scuba equipment and explore the ocean, but it felt good to get past the mental barrier and try something different. Sometimes you're not the main character, but a side character in someone else's story. Equally, sometimes you're the bad guy in someone's story, despite your intentions. Married Too Young didn't understand the importance of benefits tied to a job, medical, dental, retirement. Work to live, do not live to work. Don't trust anyone, stand up for yourself. If you don't bounce, you break. Meaning life comes at you hard and fast, so roll with it. Buildings and bridges are made to bend in the wind. To withstand the world, that's what it takes. All that steel and stone is no match for the air, my friend. What doesn't bend breaks. Ani DiFranco. There are people that want a relationship with you because of how happy you make them, a family because of how happy they feel, or will feel if they get, etc. It's a little thing, but you will notice it many people. The hollow, endless vortex when there is low self-esteem, a lack of self-love or self-hatred. You don't have to avoid these people. Just be mindful, because there is nothing you can do to heal them or be enough for them. They need to take that step. They need to do the work. There is nothing you need to do to help them, no matter how much they say so. Wasted hours can accumulate 2 days and months and years. Eventually you realize you're running out of time. You've not even started to do the things you wanted to do. And some of those things you'll never be able to do, because you're not young anymore. Pink Floyd line hits so hard, and then one day you find 10 years have got behind you. No one told you when to run, you missed the starting gun. Season, reason, and lifetime. Some people come into your life for a season. Sometimes, multiple seasons. But they change, and so do you. Eventually, like the leaves on the trees, you fall down and apart from each other. Some people come into your life for a reason. Maybe it is a particularly difficult time in your life and you need a mentor. Or maybe just someone to talk to. Whatever it is, they don't stay forever. But they came into your life for a reason, and they helped you. Even if it was a negative relationship, it taught you a lesson you may otherwise not have learned. Some people come into your life for a lifetime. Those people are the hardest to come by. But those people will stick by you when seasons change one after the next. They will grow with you. That I'm gonna have to learn to cope with having a disability my whole life and coming to terms with what that might look like as an adult. I know I'll never get over it, but still it's hard to tackle. As an entrepreneur that struggles to juggle professional and personal life at times, I have learned that no one in this world is perfect. Not the manager you hire at your company, not the girl/boy you wish to marry, not the people you want to do business with, no one. So instead of riding your high horse, dismount and make it work with what you have. I'm 60 and I still find women half my age attractive, but there's not a hope in hell they know I even exist. Plus, I've gotta admit, I can't be bothered with relationships anymore. You're not as good as you think you are. I thought the world owed me stuff because I was smart, but being intelligent only opens the door. I failed an internal job interview and had some feedback from a line manager, and he taught me that I need to work hard, learn from mistakes, and embrace criticism if I wanted to be where I wanted to be. Freaking love that advice. When it comes to money and a job, don't believe anything like, "We can change that after you get hired." I was willing to believe someone, and while possible, it was like a 1 in 1,000 chance, because it had to make it all the way to the CEO. That method set my career back about 10 years. Also, where you live can really factor into how you can and will find a job. My wife didn't want to believe this, and really didn't want to change our lifestyle or our location. I'm still paying the price. Literally. The best you can hope for is for against gravity is a draw. Quote from my jump master just before my qualification jump. He was right. The Marine behind me found out the hard way. Having a fight with a neighbor while I was drunk, the legal repercussions were quite scary, and the court date is in 2026. As it was a fight with the neighbor, I had bail conditions saying I couldn't go to the street I lived in. I ended up street homeless for about 6 months, living in a tent in the park AMD sofa surfing. I got a lot of debt with some online finance companies just to get hotels for the odd night. I've finally managed to get a house in a nice area, perfect for my dog, chide and away from the bad influences. After all of this, I am a completely different person, and can well and truly say I learned my lesson. You can believe in people all you want, and give them as much love and understanding as you want, make as many excuses for them as you want, but if the person is bad, all you're gonna get is S, no matter how much you'd like that to not be true. And holding on to that does no favors. But the latest lesson I've learned is that if you find yourself in their position, being an utter D-bag to others because of the pain and frustration you feel with the hand you've been dealt, you start to feel empathy for those people for who they were, instead of the person you wanted them to be. And in that moment, if people forgive you for your behavior, and you learn to forgive yourself, that is when you finally learn to forgive the people who have wronged you, and that's when you finally completely move on and start to heal. At least that's how it seems to have been working out for me lately. It's been painful, and it's been hard as frick, but in a weird way, it feels good. One of my hardest to learn was that you have got to be very careful when dealing with the public. I had a job where I was ringing people up, tracking where they had been to control the spread of COVID-19. Got on the wrong side of the wrong person, who was one of those who took COVID less seriously, and I slipped up and called him an idiot. I got fired an hour or so later from my job. They listened to the call and decided they couldn't keep me on any longer, so I lost my job. What is one of your life lessons? Feel free to share in the comments below. Please consider subscribing and liking for more daily videos.